guys, welcome back to our channel Mo and Ash Vibes. Today we are going to talk about a topic that all international students must know. Now we know that when an international student comes to Canada to study, they want to eventually, after completing their studies, work in Canada, gain experience in Canada, and in most of the cases settle in Canada. So when you come to Canada for your studies, you have to apply for your study permit. But after completing your studies, when you want to work, you apply for your work permit. So in this video, we are going to talk about the work permit that you can apply for after you have completed your studies in Canada from a designated learning institution. This work permit is also known as the postgraduate work permit, which is PGWP. We are going to talk about what kind of work permit it is, how long is this work permit valid for, how the length of your program impacts the duration of this work permit. This will also help you to choose your course wisely, that whether you should come to Canada for a 1-year course or for a 2-year course. So this video is going to be really informative for all the international students, so stay tuned till the end of the video. So PGWP is a work permit that international students can apply for after they have completed their education in Canada from an eligible designated learning institution. The good thing about this work permit is that it is free from labor market impact assessment, which means it is an open work permit, so you can work for any employer. It is not an employer specific work permit. So this is a very good thing about this kind of work permit. With post-graduation work permit, you can work part-time as well as full-time. You can even be self-employed. If you gain skilled experience, which is that you gain experience in the jobs or in the occupation that fall under the category of NOC O, A or B level while you are on this work permit, you can even be eligible to apply under Canadian Experience Class category under the Express Entry system for your PR. Now the next very important thing to know about the post-graduation work permit is its validity. That is, how long is it valid for? Now when students come here to study, sometimes they choose 1-year course, sometimes they go for 2 years course, and sometimes even more than that. So after you have completed your studies, when you are going to apply for your post-graduation work permit, the officer might take into consideration the length of your program to determine the validity of your post-graduation work permit. This work permit could be issued to you for the duration of anywhere between 8 months to 3 years, but it should be in accordance to the length of your program. So after you have completed your studies in Canada from an eligible designated learning institution, you will get an official transcript or an official completion letter of your program. On that letter, it will also say that how long your program was, what was the length of your program. Usually what I've seen is that if your program is of 1 year, usually you get the post-graduation work permit for 1 year. But if your program is of 2 years or more than 2 years, you get the postgraduate work permit for 3 years. So keep this thing in mind when you are choosing your course, that whether you want to choose a 1-year course or a 2-year course or more than that. In my opinion, if you only have 1-year course, then you will get 1 year of postgraduate work permit, which is not enough time to gain experience in Canada. So when you are going to apply for your PR, your experience won't be enough, and then you will have limited options to get your PR sorted. But if you go for a course that is of 2 years or more than that, then you will get a postgraduate work permit of 3 years. That gives you a lot of time to figure out your PR stuff. Plus, it will give you a lot of time to gain experience in Canada. So now when you're going to apply for this work permit, you have to keep few things in mind. So first of all, you have to make sure that your program is at least of 8 months. If your program is less than 8 months, then you will not qualify for this postgraduate work permit. So your program should be at least of 8 months, a minimum of 8 months. The next thing is that the institution that you will choose has to be an eligible designated learning institution. If your college or institution is not on the list of designated learning institutions, then you will not qualify for your postgraduate work permit. So make sure that when you are choosing your college or any institution, you have to make sure that it is an eligible designated learning institution. Third thing is that you have to be a full-time student in order to apply for a postgraduate work permit. Exceptions may be made in the case where you have taken leave from your studies that was authorized by your designated learning institution. And then when you're going to apply for your PGWP, you have to provide the documentation for the same that will state that your leave was authorized by your designated learning institution. But at the same time, you also have to make sure that even if you have taken leave from your studies, you are maintaining the requirements for your work permit. So that has to be met at all times. Another situation where the exception can be made is that if the student meets all the eligibility requirements, but only in the last academic session of their program, they had the status of a part-time student. So in that case, they might still be considered for a postgraduate work permit. One extremely important thing to keep in mind is that after you have completed your studies, when you are going to get your official completion letter or the transcript, you must apply for your postgraduate work permit within 180 days of receiving that letter. This time period is really important, so make sure you apply for your work permit within this window, within this time period. Now let's talk about work authorization after you have submitted your work permit application, your postgraduate work permit application. I have come across this question a lot of times, and a lot of times students are confused that after they have submitted their postgraduate work permit application, in the meantime, when they are waiting for the decision on their application, on their work permit, are they allowed to work or not? So if you are a student who applied for their work permit within 180 days of receiving their official transcript, and also when they applied their study permit was valid, then you are eligible to work full-time. You just have to make sure that you meet certain requirements, such as that you must make sure that when you are applying for your PGWP, your study permit is still valid. Then you have to make sure that you have completed your studies. Your study should be full-time, not part-time. So you have to make sure it's a full-time study. Then the program that you have completed must be a post-secondary academic or vocational or professional training program that led to a degree or diploma or certificate. And the program should be a minimum of 8 months. Also, when you are a full-time student, you are only allowed to work certain number of hours. So you have to make sure that you do not exceed those hours. So you have to take care of all these factors when you are going to apply for your postgraduate work permit. So if you meet all these requirements, then while you are waiting on your decision on your postgraduate work permit application, you can work full-time. So postgraduate work permit is a really good work permit for the international students because it gives them the opportunity to gain experience and to gain skills in Canada after they have completed their education in Canada. It will also help them to eventually settle in Canada because after they have gained experience and skills in Canada, they can apply for their PR. Also, since it is an open work permit, which means they can work for any employer, so it gives them even more opportunities to gain the experience. So this was our today's video on postgraduate work permit. I decided to make a video on this topic because a lot of times students do know about this work permit, but they do not realize the importance of it. Because all the little details matter. Like as I said, if you go for a 1-year course, then you only get 1 year's work permit. But instead, if you go for a 2-year course or more than that, then you get 3 years work permit, which is a lot of time to figure out your PR stuff. So by knowing all these little details, you can make an informed decision whether you want to come here for a 1-year course or a 2-year course. And similarly, all these things, like you have to make sure that you're meeting the criteria, you're choosing a full-time course. So all these little details matter so that you make an informed decision about your career. So that's why I decided to clarify all these important points for you in this video today. Still, if you have any more questions related to the topic, feel free to comment in the section below and I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. With this, I end our today's video. If you liked our today's video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, hit the subscribe button and share the content. Now I will see you in our next video. Until next time, ta-da!